Good morning, stamping friends. How are you all? My name is Lorri Heiling, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I'm excited to share another project. But first, I want to know, how are all of you guys doing? I'm going to chat just a little bit till I get some viewers, because this time I want to make sure that I am on the screen. So I'm kind of refreshing my computer so I can see. And let me know, well, actually, I guess it's more when I turn the camera that sometimes you have trouble viewing, but I'm trying to get better at this. But so it's Friday already. Can you believe another week has passed into our COVID-19 virus situation? Oh my goodness. Surprisingly, the weeks are going pretty fast for me, and I'm keeping busy because I am basically in my stamp room most of the time, my little happy place. So I really can't complain. I'm kind of enjoying it because on normal days I'm just so busy that I hardly have time to sit and catch a breath. So anyway, I really don't mind it. But for the rest of the world, I'm excited to get back to normal. You know what I mean? Business is up and running and stuff like that. So, well, let me share with you what we're going to be making today, and also I'm launching my next class to go. These have been fun for me because normally, like I said, I'm so busy with my face-to-face group of gals that I hardly have time to do the internet stuff, but this has given me a good chance to get it rolling, so I really am enjoying this. So the stamp set that we're going to use, let me grab that here, is called Seriously the Best, and it's an awesome set. I love the font because it kind of speaks for itself. The font size is large, and you know, you don't have to add a lot to it because it takes up a lot of room. So I do like this. Now this comes with a kit as well. So if you purchase this, you could also get the kit for even more pretty much ready to go things to make. But I like to do my own designing. So in this class, it's all things that I have designed. Let me show you the cards that will be included. And this is a, let me get my cheat sheet. It's called Seriously the Best Stamp-A-Stack Class to Go. And what that means is you're going to be getting a dozen cards. There will be 6 different designs, 2 of each card. And then, so you're going to have a bunch of cards ready to go, and everything that you need will be in there. The only thing I can't do for you is stamps. So you would either need to get that stamp set, or, you know, I have different pricing structures for what you need. So I'll show you that at the end. But let me show you the cards. And so now I need to do this switcheroo thing here, but I just do it by hand. And this is the part I'm going to need your help on to tell me if you can see it. I wish I had a robotic one here. So bear with me because I want to make sure this is set up good. All right, does that look pretty good? Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, I think that will work. Let me show you the first card, and this is the one that we are going to make today. So this is one of those, I think they call it the scrap technique, and it's been around for a while, but you know how stamping goes. Sometimes you revive it and do it again in different colors, different stamp sets. And the first that I saw it, or what reminded me of it, was when Bruno Bertucci, I'm not sure how you say their last name, he did this, and it just kind of took off. So I want to show you how I did this version of it. But what's kind of special about it is look how I did the letters. I made them totally coordinate, and I'll show you how you get that effect, because normally you can't see color on black, but I'll show you how I did that. The next one is kind of a fun fold, and it looks like that. And then when you open it, it's like that. And you could add a little gift card or something over there if you want. So that's the second one. The third one is a very simple, boy, you could almost do like a stack of these if you need a ton of birthday cards or thank yous, or I miss you during this COVID thing. this is the card to make because it doesn't really take a lot, just a strip here. But this is actually on dimensional, so you know, it's raised up. It looks better in person. And then the rhinestones are even colored, so that's the third one. The fourth one is kind of a fancy fold. This one's been around as well, but I'll give you the measurements where and an easy way in the tutorial how to achieve that. And the fourth one is a wedding card. Weddings are still happening in creative ways, but this one features, can you see the little ring there? There's a diamond ring in there, and then we have the men's ring, and so that's just a fun congratulations. And then the last one is another thank you. This one has embossing on it, and with Stampin' Up, as you know, I can't stamp for you, but I can do all the punching for you and the die cutting, so you'll get everything like this. Now, if you don't have that Daisy stamp set, which is called, I believe, Daisy Lane, we have 2 Daisy stamp sets. You can totally do this without stamping it. I did another version, and all I did was the punch in white, and then I just inked the edges up with a little bit of yellow. So that looks just as good if you don't have the stamp set. All right, so let's get going on this card again. So, excuse me, for starters, let's just do the card base. And what I did for that was I just took a 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock and just cut it and scored it down the middle at 4 1/4, and then just fold on that score line like that. Now the next piece that you want to cut is a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of paper, and need a little bit of scrap paper here because you're probably going to get a little bit of tape on your desk if you don't have something down. And what we want to do is place these little pieces on, and these are all 4.5 by 1.5. Okay, now we need to trim these, and you don't have to be perfect when you do this. Let me move these over again. So I'll put my trimmer down, and what you want to do is just kind of go not quite to one corner to not quite of one corner. And you don't have to draw lines or you know, make them perfect or uniform. You want them kind of random, so make some of them barely at an angle, and then some at a deeper angle. Really doesn't matter. How do you guys like the new trimmer? Isn't it awesome? I love that if you need refills, you get 4 in a pack. And you know, I've had this since we could first get it, which is last year, I don't know, late summer, early fall. And I've only switched the blade 1 time, which means they don't dull as fast as our other ones. And it is awesome. I'm so glad. And then this arm pulls out, and it goes up to a little over 17 inches. So 12 by 12 paper is easy to line up and stay straight. All right, one more to go here. This one I'll make really deep. Yeah, I'll go almost corner to corner. All right, now we have those done. Let me get my trimmer out of the way. All right, now it's time to glue. So for this one, let's use snail on this. Sometimes I use liquid glue. So we're going to take that black piece of paper, and I started at the bottom. I started with the Night of Navy, and it really doesn't matter what you start with, but I think it's easier to start at the bottom. So just put snail, and you can go ahead and line that up on the bottom, because eventually we're going to cut this out with the rectangle die. Now, the trick with doing this is you want the small side to go opposite. So, you know, rather than going the same way, we're going to turn it opposite. And the only thing you have to be careful about is just lining up from your previous one. I went about 1/8 of an inch. And then just kind of follow your color scheme. So this one we want this way. So this part is kind of fun, just putting it together. It's so easy once you get your color scheme. If you don't have these colors, you can really do any colors. I think 3 colors work the best. Just pick some of your 3 favorite colors. I went by what blends I had, because I try to, and you'll see how I'm going to use the blends later, but I went by which blend colors I thought went well with this. Oops, let's see. Wrong color. All right. And you know what? Like I said, we're gonna cut this out with a, let's see, with a stitch rectangle, but even if you don't have that, it's okay. I mean, I think it looks, anytime you add another embellishment or something fun, it makes it look a little bit better. But if you don't, you can just trim off the edges to 5 1/4 by 4 would be good. We're almost done here, and look at how it goes over the edge. That doesn't matter, like I said, because we're going to be cutting it out. All right, the hardest part for me right now is just making sure my colors are the right color. All right. I think this might be the last one. You'll have a couple left over, but there we go. That worked pretty well. If it doesn't, like on my card, see how I had to go one more like that? It really doesn't matter. It really depends on how big you make these and how wide your angle is. So that's what it looks like. It's over the edge. So at this point, if you don't have the rectangle, then just slice it off at 5 1/4 by 4, and then it'll fit nicely on your card front. All right, so you can do this and call it good and stick it through your Big Shot with the largest rectangle die. Or one more step you can add if you want, and I'll show you what I did with this one. I ran it through the embossing with an embossing folder. It's probably hard to see, but there's the Subtles embossing on there. And so it just kind of finishes it off. And then look at that nice stitched edge it leaves when you do trim it with the rectangle dies. All right, now we are going to get to that the sentiment part that says hello friend. So I just took the black stitch circle, and this size is 2 1/2. There's I think three different sizes, or is it 4? Can't remember. And then Versamark ink. Remember, Versamark is clear and goopy. That's my technical way of explaining what this ink is like. And it's goopy because we are going to want embossing powder to stick to it. So just stamp this as best as you can in the middle. And then we're going to take white embossing powder and sprinkle it on top. And I like to do it under a white piece of paper because then I can easily dump it back in. All right, sometimes it gets a little bit of pieces that you don't want. If you have an embossing buddy, you can run that over, which I forgot to take out, and that will make it so these won't show, but it's okay if a little bit does. All right, so let me get rid of this. I'll dump that later. And now we'll get your embossing tool, and it won't take very long to do this, so hold on. This just bakes it to the paper, makes it shiny and raises it a little bit. You have to kind of look at an angle to see if it's done. I love embossing. This was one of the first thing that got me onto stamping was the embossing technique. All right, the next part is we are ready to color this in. And so the blends that I got in, I found the darker blends work better. I just matched up my cardstock, which is Night of Navy, Rich Razzleberry, and Bermuda Bay. and I use the dark in all of these. So let's just start with the navy. And all you do is, I think it works best to use the brush end. You know how the blends have a journaling side, or for smaller, tiny areas, it's a harder end. And then this side has the brush end, more of like a paintbrush. So I think it's easier to do the paintbrush, and you will just go over what you just embossed, and it doesn't matter if it goes over on the black because you can't see it anyway. And you'll go every third letter if you want this design. I'm going to show you one more version that if it's too busy for you and you don't like your letters all different, then I'll show you a different one. So then we're going to do the E. So simple. I'm not doing the whole thing because it'll take too long. I don't like when the videos get too long. Just get to the point, right? All right, next one. We'll do one more color, and then I'll show you the finished. Whoops, I forgot to do the little loop-de-loop there, but you get the idea, right? Okay, so you would finish that off, and then let me show you what it looks like when you do the whole thing. So it looks nice that way as well. So you can either do each, letter separately or in different colors, or do the whole thing. Then I want to show you one more little trick. You know what? Well, I wish I would have colored the whole thing in. But I want to show you that with our rhinestones, you actually can color these in as well. So we would need a rich raspberry, and again, I think the brush end works better because it wraps around the whole rhinestone. If you have blends and want to try it on both ends, and you'll see what I mean by how it just is easier to paint when it's the paintbrush end. All right, then get your trusty pick tool, which I love. It has a little rubber on the end, and you just pick it up and it extends your finger. And then just add 3 of these to kind of make a little bling with this. Like that, down in the corner. All right. So then the next step is, let me just finish up with this one because I have it almost done, is I put all the dimensionals on the back. Remember, I like to do the 4 corners plus in the middle, because when you have a larger piece of cardstock, sometimes it sinks in the middle and you have, you can't tell the pop that this layer gives. So that's why I add an extra one in there. Then I just test them all to make sure I got them. And then just put that on your card front, just center it. Oh, and then tie a ribbon. I did about 9 inches around here, and this is the satin ribbon. And you know what? I showed you how to do a bow, but let me show you just in case you want to see, because a lot of people ask, how do you do your bows? So I just go, let's see, I like to have I'm going to take this off, but I just want to show you how I do my bows, or I mean my knots. So I go left over right like this, and then when I push it under, I fold it down, I hold it down. Then I take my index finger and hold that knot so it doesn't get loose. Then I go one more time. And I think the trick to making that knot, that square knot on the front, is by holding the left one and not pulling it, but pulling the right one. And that gives that nice square knot right like that. Okay? So now oh gosh, now I have it stuck to here. I shouldn't have taken the backs off quite yet. So I'm just going to pull that off because I just wanted to show you how I do that. All right, now let's put this on the card. Let me straighten that out a little bit. All right, it's ready. We are almost done. There we go. Now let's do the finished one. This one, you can see I just made them all green. You can do whatever combinations you want. So we'll put a few dimensionals on the back here. Make sure when you do dimensionals, you put them opposite where the ribbon is going to go. so that it's not on the ribbon, otherwise it won't really catch there. All right. So when I'm done here, I'm going to put the link. I'm ready to load it on my blog, and you can see how to register for this class. And like I said, you'll get 2 of each of these cards, everything cut out for you. So there it is with the embossing and cut out with the die, but all the same color. And then this one is the just plain one, but also used with the rectangle die with all the different colored letters. So there you have it. If you see anything that interests you, I would love it if you ordered from my online store. And I have a new host code here, and I'll put that right up there, and I will also post it. It's always on my blog as well on the right-hand side. So let me show you the pricing on this. So if you want the works, which is $50, you will get the Seriously the Best stamp set. That's on page 60 of the spring catalog if you haven't seen it yet. And you'll also get 1 package of the Rhinestone Basic Jewels, because we use that on almost every card has some. So I threw that in as well. You will get 12 make and takes plus the 12 envelopes. And remember, I'm not able to stamp for you. And then remember, the 12 cards will be 6 designs, 2 of each. Then you will get a PDF emailed to you with photos and patterns and instructions. And I also ship 2-day priority shipping. And then that comes with insurance. Then the next category is option B, the Great Deal. That one's $25. Again, you'll get the 12 make and takes and the envelopes, but no product in that, and the PDF emailed to you. The last one is if you want the PDF only of how to make all these cards, it's $10, and that will be emailed to you with photos, instructions as well. So I will put a link to this registration, and what you'll do is just fill out your name, your option choice, and then I need your mailing address if you want option A or B, because I need to know where to send these to. And then once you fill this out, you can email it back to me, or just in an email, answer those questions. And then I will send you a PayPal invoice. And then once you get that, you can just pay it that way. And the deadline for this is April 24th is the RSVP deadline. So at that time, I will put the order in all together, and then I will work on the kit. So you won't get the kit until about a week after the deadline. So that'll just be the end of April. I'm trying to do these classes to go twice a month, so you can watch for them in the beginning of the month and then about mid-month. And I will try to be good about posting. And I'm kind of aiming for Friday. That seems to be the best time for me for FaceTime Lives for these classes to go. And then I may throw a few in there besides, but you can watch for me for sure on Friday mornings. Well, I think that that pretty much sums up everything. I hope you guys are doing well with this COVID situation, and that things get back to normal, and have a great day. And thank you again for joining me. You take care. Bye-bye.